I'm joined at our investor evening by Keith Bush, the CEO of Cabot Energy. So let me start off by asking you to sum up Cabot Energy for me.
So Cabot Energy is focused on production-led growth in Canada with high margin exploration in Italy. And I think the company really wants to deliver on a portfolio that has extremely good prospects, particularly on the production side in the shorter term, the exploration side in the longer term, which could lead to real value growth.
So you're producing in Canada and exploring in Italy?
Absolutely, we're producing in Canada. We've also got a small amount of production that we bought into in Italy as well, but the main focus is the production in Canada, which we're working on at the moment. We started with a small portfolio of assets that we've expanded. We've got 2 production facilities that we acquired through the industry downturn, and that's allowed us to go from, I think in 2015 we were about 30 barrels a day. Last year we averaged just under 300. We're at about 600 now, and we should be 900 by the end of our summer work programme, which is ongoing at the moment and should be completed by the end of September, October.
And your strategy going forwards in Canada?
Well, we're looking at it's a light oil play in northwest Alberta. It's kind of been bypassed by the previous
which
operators.
is a bit contrarian in Canada, I understand.
Absolutely, yeah. In Canada, they've been really going after the unconventional plays, the Duvernay and the Montney, which are shale plays. Like all of the big American players, they're going after that, and they've forgotten about the fact that there's lots of remaining oil. Lots of remaining light oil, so it's very producible in areas that were developed back in the 60s and 70s. So it's like taking a mature province like the North Sea and redeveloping it, which has happened a lot here. It's not happened so much in Canada, and people haven't applied the technology in the way that we're applying it there. So it's really quite exciting at the moment. We'll see where we get to next year, because that's where the real drilling on this is going to start.
So you started off at 300 barrels a day, and what do you hope to end up by next year?
We're at 600 at the moment. We should be approaching 900 by year end, and then up to 1500 with the set of assets that we have. But that's when we then start targeting this redevelopment of an old play, and we've taken it slightly further because we've looked at the 3D seismic that's available, and we've developed a new concept for it, which we're going to test with some wells next year. And if they work, then we're looking at 5,000 barrels a day plus over a period of 2 to 3 years.
So 2020 up to 5,000 barrels a day?
That's where we would hope to be based on what we've seen so far.
And if we could turn to Italy, what's the state of play in Italy?
So Italy, slightly different. Things move slightly slower in Italy, and we've been working in the country a long time, so we've developed a lot of experience about how to work there. But what we've also found is that we need to have a bit more presence. So whilst we've got exploration opportunities, which we'll talk about in a moment, we've just acquired a production asset there, which should complete before the year end. Provides us with a small amount of production, but it's valuable gas production. And the Italian market, they only produce about 5% of their own gas. The rest either comes from Russia or it comes from North Africa. And so the margin for gas production in Italy is very, very good compared to anywhere else in Europe or North America or anywhere like that.
But permitting is quite slow in Italy, I understand.
Permitting is quite slow, so buying a producing field was very important to us. And what we hope it will help us do is make sure that we manage to get our exploration opportunities, which are very, very big, developed. Now, that's going to take some time, and that we've been working on them over a number of years.
How long before you start having a substantial business in Italy?
So we have a couple of licenses in the Southern Adriatic, which we've held for a few years now. We're just getting to the proper exploration stage on them. They have some contingent resource in place, some discoveries in place. It's a very oil-prone province, and also gas. We're looking at drilling an exploration prospect there over in the next couple of years, which is potentially 500,000 barrels recoverable. We're going to acquire some 3D seismic in the first half of next year, and when we've done that, process it and find out the best place to drill, that will really make a big difference to our Italian. But as you can imagine, for a company our size, But on top of that, we've also got an onshore opportunity which is operated by Shell, and Shell farmed into that license back in 2015 because they really liked the play. They had all the data from a previous ownership of Enterprise. They looked at it, they liked it, they knocked on our door and said, listen, we want to come and get involved in this, we like Italy, and we'd like to see where this can go. So we've got a 20% interest in that. We're working closely with Shell, but they're operating it and they're moving forward in their own time on that, and that's probably a 2 to 3 year timeline.
And yes, 2 to 3 years. And where does your funding come for all these different phases of development that are going to come?
So at the moment we did a raise at the end of last year. We brought a new investor on board who is very pro production, but also likes the exploration side of things. They've invested also at an asset level as well as a corporate level, and so.
And the name of that investor?
Their names they're High Power Petroleum, and they're backed by a company called iPulse Inc., which is. It's a huge company. It's $1 billion plus. It's privately owned, but has investors from the Ontario Teachers Fund, as ConocoPhillips, and high net worth individuals. And they are looking at promoting their technology, but they're also looking at building an exploration and production portfolio because they understand that one of the key men there is a geologist.
I can understand why people with lots of money and lots of technology attached are very useful to you. But why are you interested in private investors as well?
Well, I think that the private investors are really what the cornerstone for our business, and we want to make sure that we can generate some value for them. And they've had a hard time over the last few years, and I fully recognise that. But I think now is the time where the company's really looking at a fresh start, and we want to bring the private investors with our institutional investors, so that we can actually create some genuine value for them. And they are the ones that make the share price tick.
Why Cabot? What are the strengths and differentiators of Cabot?
So I get asked the differentiator question a lot, and I thought about it a lot. And what's key to me is the company is the people, the management that we have in place, the team that we have in place, but it's also the assets. The assets are fantastic. You know, we for a small company of our size, it's quite unusual to be producing oil and making money and making profit, which we will be. And also we've got such good exploration assets that are completely company changing and any big company would be interested in. And then at the end of the day, it's the investors. And we've got a great set of institutional investors, but we've also got very good private investors who've been with us for a long time and they've gone through some pain. And I think now is the time for us to give something back.
Keith Bush, CEO of Cabot Energy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Donald.